Power outages related to winter weather are happening twice as often as they did decades ago. That's partly because some storms are becoming more intense, but also because of an aging power grid. One solution making homes that can not only power themselves, but also their communities. Dave Malkoff has that story.
First of all, what a view. This is your house?
Yeah, welcome to Draper, Utah. This is paradise.
John Walsh gives back to his beautiful neighborhood overlooking Salt Lake City in different ways. Sometimes offering a pie to his neighbors.
Another pie, huh?
And sometimes offering his house as a warm shelter like he did 2 years ago.
We had about 7 feet of snow out here.
In the Suncrest neighborhood, cars are buried in powder.
Their heaviest snowfall in 25 years cut out neighborhood lights and heat.
Well, I remember calling over to you and asking you if you wanted to come over because you didn't have any electricity.
But how did you have power when everybody else didn't have power?
With that battery out there, I always have power.
This big battery in his garage is charged by nearly 30 solar panels on his roof.
This is a solution for the future.
For most of us, a centralized power plant sends electricity to your home. If a tree falls on a line in your neighborhood or the plant faces extreme winter conditions, you could lose power. But in this decentralized system, the batteries in these homes keep their power on. Plus, they're giving power back to the grid, sharing it with the entire community. It's known as a virtual power plant, or VPP.
We see it benefits from any winter storm, any outage, any disruption in a power plant, or even any disruption in a transmission line.
And because of the new VPP model, Bill Como's power company doesn't rely as much on fossil fuels. So this used to be a coal power plant, but now you only use it for emergencies, really.
Yeah, it was converted to natural gas for peaking time periods, but that's where VPPs come in, is they help offset the need for these types of power plants.
For homeowners, this system is expensive. Leasing it could cost about $90 a month, but that's offset by lower power bills. However, value
It's good to contribute.
is not just measured in dollars.
I rather give than take. Give me major.
From where he sits,
Oh, you good boy.
it's all about investing in his paradise, just outside that window. For CBS Saturday Morning, Dave Malkoff in Draper, Utah.
It is widely known that humans' use of fossil fuels has contributed to the increase in planet-warming greenhouse gases. But could animals be part of the answer to combating climate change? We met researchers on opposite sides of the globe who found that reintroducing wildlife to some areas could make a difference. Romania's Carpathian Mountains are some of Europe's last untouched nature. While small agrarian villages hug the hillsides, lakes, rivers, and a sea of trees dominate the landscape. On a warm summer day last year, we ventured into the heart of this vast wilderness in search of something special.
We already found some nice bison fresh tracks here.
Biologist Matei Muculescu studies a unique herd of bison that have only recently reoccupied their habitat after a 200-year absence.
The reason why they were extinct was, of course, the first one was the hunting, but also, of course, the fact that the bison habitat was reduced more and more because of the human pressure.
10 years ago, with support from non-profits Rewilding Europe and the World Wildlife Fund Romania, a handful of bison were released into the wild. Today, there are at least 200. But even as Europe's largest mammal, they know how to keep out of sight.
It will be difficult to get closer to them because they'll hear us, they'll see us, and they'll run away. So now it's basically a waiting game.
These majestic one-ton grazers serve an important purpose. Their endless appetite for shrubs and grass keeps meadows clear, while their fur and dung spread seeds, all adding up to a healthier and more productive environment.
We have actually a good example of the bison working to keep this meadow open.
Even how they source insect repellent has broad benefits.
By eating the bark on some of the trees or rubbing on them, it helps this meadow to stay open for a longer period of time. which of course it will mean more food here in the forest for the bison, but also for other smaller herbivores.
Scientists call bison a keystone species because, like beavers, sea otters, and wolves, they help maintain a healthy ecosystem. But new research shows their positive impact could be even bigger.
We're only learning now that animals like bison can have a tremendous impact on the carbon cycles.
Oswald Schmitz from Yale School of the Environment is building a body of research dedicated to the impact of animals on climate change.
What we want to do is learn the feasibility of using these animals to be a natural climate solution in terms of their ability to boost the carbon storage in ecosystems.
Bison naturally instigate processes that increase carbon capture.
They graze on grassland vegetation, they nourish the grasses through their dung release and increase and boost the productivity of the grasslands, and thereby enables the plants to capture more carbon and store it on the earth.
A similar process is also happening in our oceans.
The term we've used for seagrasses, salt marshes, and mangroves, in other words, the habitats in the ocean that sequester carbon and can help fight climate change really, really well. We call those blue carbon habitats.
Marine scientists Melissa Ward and Catherine Beheshti are working to restore eelgrass in Elkhorn Slough, an estuary off Monterey Bay, California.
So the ocean absorbs some of the atmospheric CO2, and that goes into the seawater, just dissolved in seawater, and then the seagrass pulls it out of the seawater and putting it in its roots and the sediment underneath.
But keeping this eelgrass healthy means controlling the tiny plants that live on top of them. And this is where an animal comes in.
And so it's harmful to the eelgrass when the epiphytes are too abundant. And so by the otters eating the crabs that eat the grazers, it allows the grazer population to increase, mow down all those epiphytes, and keep the eelgrass really healthy.
The Monterey Bay has one of the highest sea otter populations in the world, thanks to decades of marine protections, which is good news for this eelgrass blue carbon ecosystem. Back at Yale, Schmitz is developing a mathematical model to measure the impact of animals like sea otters and bison on the carbon cycle.
What we're finding is that introducing the bison could potentially boost the amount of carbon that's captured and stored in those ecosystems by anywhere from 2 to 9 times more than what would be done in the absence of these animals.
Schmitz published a paper in 2023 in collaboration with several scientists that shows how animals around the globe can help counter climate change. They project that if just 9 key species were restored and protected, including wildebeest, whales, and elephants, it could offset the equivalent of the United States CO2 emissions annually.
Just those 9 groups of animals that we looked at can take up 6 billion tons of carbon on the planet.
While the data shows promise, it would require greater coexistence with animals, and more convincing that wildlife policy is also climate change policy.
Global policy that is interested in protecting biodiversity isn't drawing the connections between conservation and fixing the climate problem in any large measure. They're treated as 2 separate sorts of things. Protecting species in preserves and national parks, and reducing emissions and finding technologies that can help save us.
But the fact of the matter is, the world has always depended on nature to store its carbon. The question now is whether humans are willing to help it.
As a first resort, I think we should look to nature and be better stewards of nature to encourage that to happen.
And Michelle, it's all about that connection between capturing carbon. I mean, imagine 6 billion tons out of the atmosphere if we allowed these types of animals to do what they do on a natural basis. This is new science.
I mean, it makes sense, though. The logic that Mother Earth would create species that would have a symbiotic relationship with it to keep it going.
And it's basically everything. We're talking sharks, marine fish, you saw wolf, elephants. So
and those cute little otters.
Love to see them eat, see them chowing down.
Yeah.
Let them live is the point.
Cooler temperatures are helping firefighters make progress against the deadly wildfires in Los Angeles County. The Palisades fire is 39% contained this morning. It has burned more than 23,000 acres. The smaller but deadlier Eaton fire is now 65% contained. That fire, burning in the hills northeast of Pasadena, is being blamed for 16 deaths and has destroyed hundreds of buildings. As Dave Malkoff shows us, it is also disrupting work at one of NASA's most important facilities.
This is how you see NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory most of the time. A room packed with scientists talking to the stars.
It's weird to be in here without people.
This is how it looks today.
It is the first time in 60 years that we've had to pull people out of this mission operations room.
It says Deep Space Network. You're managing things that are as far out as Voyager.
Yes, beyond the edge of the solar system.
JPL director Lori Leshin was very worried about this place. Worried about her house, too, right in the Eaton fire zone.
We actually watched the hillside around us burn on our security cameras.
To show you just how close the fire got to JPL, we're going to split screen right here so we can show you the fire in the picture that Dr. Leshin shared from that night. It was right at their doorstep.
Here on lab, we have our own firefighters.
The NASA Fire Department was right in this fight, assisting other agencies, CAL FIRE helicopters snorkeling water from JPL tanks.
The DC-10s dropping all the retardant. You can see the pause check lines. They've been lying here on the hillside.
This is the NASA Jet Propulsion Lab.
Yes, it is.
It's right in the middle of the burn zone.
We are right here tucked up in the foothills. It was very scary. Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, we could see the fire very clearly from here approaching the lab.
JPL's Ian Pinkham, a single dad, has been going practically non-stop since this began. His 11-year-old daughter is staying with friends.
I got to see her for about an hour 2 days ago. I snuck out and went and gave her a hug. I think that's the longest hug I've ever gotten back from her. Wasn't easy to turn around and say, it's okay, I'll see you in a couple days.
He was here, keeping JPL safe. They were very concerned at that point.
Yes, absolutely. We were meeting at that point and
thinking that you were going to lose buildings, maybe.
Yeah, preparing for an eventual fire, yes.
Deputy Director Leslie Livesay was one of more than 200 JPL employees whose home is now gone.
You live somewhere for 21 years. You know, my niece lived with me, and so there were a lot of memories there, family visits.
She says it's likely no other employer has lost more in Altadena.
Certainly JPL, Caltech combined are likely the largest employer in the area with losses.
Through all of this, no work has stopped. More than 40 spacecraft out there are still talking back to Earth. This room is how the universe understands its nature. But it was nature that brought heartbreak to Altadena and the space lab next door.
We are very strong. You know, JPL is a very tight organization. We will come together, and this community, together with, you know, outside resources, will rebuild, and we will be fine.
For CBS Saturday Morning, Dave Malkoff at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory.
The importance of early warnings during dangerous weather events. The deadly floods in Texas showing just how crucial those public alerts can be. But an incident this week reveals a vulnerability in those early warning systems. The weather radar at our CBS affiliate in Oklahoma City was vandalized and temporarily knocked offline, preventing forecasters from tracking tornadoes, floods, or other severe weather. Even more disturbing, the reason it may have happened. Dave Malkoff has that story.
When a tornado, really any kind of bad weather, is headed for your home, the only way you know it's coming is because it shows up on weather radar. The federal government runs at least 150 of these radar sites nationwide. One is likely near you, but it's typically not in the middle of big cities. The one in Atlanta is south of town, peeking out of the suburban treetops. So Keith, there's a reason why we're out here in the woods with the radar site.
Yeah, we don't want the radar to interfere with the buildings and a lot of the things that go on in the city.
Meteorologist Keith Stellman showed us how the beam scans out 160 miles and reports any trouble in the sky back to his National Weather Service office.
The radar and the 88D technology is probably one of the best revolutionary pieces of equipment that we've had in our history.
But recently, the internet has been doing what the internet does. People cooking up weather conspiracy theories. So, Rachel, you're kind of in charge of watching over these groups who are doing weird things out there.
Correct. Great way to put it.
The Southern Poverty Law Center's Rachel Goldwasser has been tracking this kind of chatter a lot more lately.
This year, I just happened to look and say, whoa, whoa, whoa. I haven't seen that for years now.
Here's one incident she's tracking from this week. Our CBS affiliate in Oklahoma City, KWTV News 9, recorded someone jumping their fence, cracking open a box, and damaging the station's own radar. Reporter Elizabeth Fitz then contacted the leader of a group who believes weather radar domes actually control the weather. He admitted to posting a sign near the radar warning it would be targeted. Over the phone, she asked the man if his group is
targeting Oklahoma weather radars.
Absolutely. I honestly don't know what they're thinking, Dave. We've had this technology dating back to the 50s.
So I would guess that this is one of the highest levels of security that you have.
Yeah.
So what would happen if something got broken or damaged on purpose from here?
I mean, we would have to fix it. Obviously, there would be full investigation into what happened.
Is there anything coming out of here that changes the weather? Is that something humans can do at all?
I mean, all we're doing is sending out a pulse of energy.
He tells us by the time the energy pulse gets to anyone down there, it's about the same power as Wi-Fi. Thousands of times lower than the FCC's safety limit. Still, several states are now proposing anti-weather modification laws.
Legitimate lawmakers making claims like this and actually wanting to take action related to conspiratorial claims, that can only be dangerous for all of us.
Again, this is a life-saving technology they don't want anybody messing with because it's here literally for everyone. For CBS Saturday Morning, I'm Dave Malkoff in Peachtree City, Georgia.
KWTV's weather radar is back up and running now. The man that was seen in the surveillance video was arrested in a separate incident and is expected to be charged with damaging that radar. It's unclear if he has any connection to the group promising to damage Oklahoma's other weather radars.
Today, we are looking at the financial impact of natural disasters. In the first half of 2025, natural disasters contributed to more than $131 billion in losses worldwide. While these events have global repercussions, they are also felt on a personal level. After experiencing shock, victims grapple with the long and tedious work of recovery. And there are steps to take before and after these crises that can go a very long way. National consumer correspondent Usher Qureshi has the important financial moves we can all learn from.
Whether it's a fire, hurricane, or tornado, how prepared are you in the aftermath? Especially when nearly everything in the disaster's path is destroyed, including neighborhood banks and, in some cases, important financial records.
And as more disasters move across the U.S., it's never too early to prepare your finances for the unexpected and know what to do when faced with something catastrophic like this.
To understand how to get your finances in order for the worst-case scenario, we met up with financial advisor Winnie Sun.
A lot of folks are returning to what was their homes. What are the top 3 things they should be thinking about from a financial standpoint?
Number 1, apply for aid. Disasterassistance.gov is where you want to go. Second thing is to get your finances organized. Figure out where everything is, make sure you have your access, and lastly, figure out cash flow and your budget.
Getting a charitable donation from a crowdfunding platform can help financially, but it can impact the amount you get in federal dollars.
If the GoFundMe is for a specific source, let's say to replace someone's minivan, right? Or something like that, something very defined, that could actually impact how much you receive from FEMA benefits.
And since natural disasters can destroy property and personal belongings, you shouldn't rely on physical financial documents.
Point is to make sure you have access to everything online. So set up e-delivery of your statements. That's a big one.
You should scan, digitize as much of your financial information as possible that's not already online, right?
Absolutely. And if it is online, then save it as a PDF. But this actually works perfectly right after tax season. You've had to collect most of your financial documents anyway, so before you put everything away or shred everything, go ahead and get it scanned. Make sure it's encrypted, and then you're good for the year.
One final tip Sun recommends: consider signing up for a password keeper so you're not scrambling to remember the passwords for 30 different accounts in the midst of a disaster.
For CBS Saturday Morning, Usher Qureshi, Los Angeles.
And do it today or tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, no time like
you
the
don't have
present.
time once that disaster hits, obviously.
Yeah, well, we have. In the fight against climate change, one of the biggest contributors is the construction industry. According to a United Nations study, it accounts for a staggering 37% of global emissions. In New Haven, Connecticut, one developer has a blueprint for limiting the carbon footprint of his buildings, including a first of its kind in the hospitality industry. Not many hotel developers would start the tour on the roof.
Well, this is where it begins, because this is how we're making power with just the sun.
You might call architect Bruce Redmond Becker a proud papa. Eager to shine light on his new baby, the Hotel Marcel, and the power behind it.
Where you install them and they make power for 25 years or more.
There are more than 1,000 solar panels covering the roof and parking canopies below.
It defines the future of sustainable hospitality.
The building was designed by one of Becker's heroes, Marcel Breuer, the architect behind the UNESCO headquarters in Paris and the Whitney Museum in New York. From 1970 to 1999, it served as headquarters for a rubber company and later a tire manufacturer, but then sat vacant for 2 decades. In 2020, Becker bought it for just over $1 million.
It was twice voted the ugliest building in Connecticut, but at the same time, folks that are passionate about brutalist architecture saw it as this iconic building. People were coming from Europe to look at it because it really is a very cool building. It's like a piece of modern art that sort of is suspended in the sky. And so I passed by it and thought there has to be a solution to remake this building in a way that honors its architectural legacy, but also sort of brings it into the future.
Recycling existing structures has been on his punch list for more than a decade. In Hartford and New York, Becker transformed historic buildings into apartment complexes. Compared to new construction, conversions cut carbon emissions by 50 to 70%.
You know, architects love to play with their houses, right?
His home in Westport, Connecticut was his testing ground.
I got rid of my gas hot water heater and I put in a air source heat pump hot water heater. And I even put in about 64 solar panels.
At a cost of about $60,000. But thanks to a 30% tax credit, he says it paid for itself in 4 years.
And then Hotel Marcel came out of this.
It took more than 2 years and $30 million, but Hotel Marcel opened its doors in 2022. It's now part of Hilton's Tapestry collection.
Not many hotels open to the interstate.
No. No, that's a building we inherited.
Ben Webster is general manager.
We have found that we are now attracting a lot of organizations and conferences because of our sustainability initiatives, where they can host these kind of zero waste, zero emission meetings and events.
Under the Energy Department's new criteria, a zero emissions building must be energy efficient, free of on-site emissions from energy use, and powered solely by clean energy. The goal is to reduce greenhouse gases by 65% in the next decade and 90% by the year 2050. The Marcel is the only hotel in the U.S. to earn the Energy Department's Platinum rating.
That's not gas?
No, ma'am. Completely electric powered.
Chef Megan Gill's kitchen is fully sustainable.
I think it's really our focus on our day-to-day efforts and how we move differently throughout the space.
Which includes composting and repurposing food waste.
And then other things like watching our water usage, maintaining a radius of 250 miles from where we buy food from to eliminate our carbon footprint.
On the outside, triple glazed windows reduce noise and improve insulation.
This is our latest innovation.
And in the laundry room,
the laundry energy is the biggest single component of energy use and typically carbon footprint for most hotels.
A first of its kind innovation in the U.S.
This is a heat pump hot water heater, which makes cold air. It actually pulls the heat out of the air and puts it in the hot water. So we basically get free hot water, and we also cool the room at the same time.
But the game changer fueling it all.
And this is sort of the hub of energy for the whole hotel.
The Hotel Marcel's microgrid.
It's a really smart way to power a building.
With inverters that switch between solar and battery power on demand.
On a summer day in the middle of the day, we actually export power to the grid from our solar panels. We also have batteries that we can pull power from, and that allows us to operate off-grid and also sell power back to the utility when there's a peak demand for the system.
On overcast days like this one, the hotel also draws on renewable green energy from the public utility.
The orange is actually the load of the buildings.
Becker tracks that usage from his phone.
So right now we're getting a combination of power from the utility, from the solar.
Hoping to negotiate more space for solar in the parking lot, which he says would wean the hotel from that dependence.
This is a very easily replicable approach to making hotels and commercial buildings that don't contribute to the climate change problem that we have.
Becker believes the Hotel Marcel can be a model, moving the hospitality industry into a greener future.
Sounds like we have to build on what we already have.
Absolutely. I mean, history is a big part of what we have to think about going forward, because that really defines our identity. You know, if we don't think about where we came from and what that means, you know, we're sort of lost. And I think our challenge is to build on the past, but in ways that make for a brighter future.
You know, hospitality accounts for about 1% of global carbon emissions, and he says this could really put a dent in, the greenhouse gas impact if just the hospitality industry jumps into this wholeheartedly.
Is it money and the idea that people want to build their own thing and they don't want to sit on an existing footprint?
Probably a combination of both, but just sort of recapturing the notion of taking what's old and making it new again.
Instead of just building something completely new. All right.